loses some of the geopolitical advantage that it has when that came when Washington leaned extra hard toward New Delhi as a counterweight to China. So a thaw between the world's two biggest powers always compresses diplomatic space for countries like India, which are also in that space. But this is not, I would say, a reset of strategic competition. It's sort of a tactical cooling off period. The US-China rivalry isn't going anywhere. Both leaders have made that clear. Supply chain diversification, technology security, the Indo-Pacific strategy, these remain in motion, and India remains central to all of them. So for India, this moment is about positioning, not panic, so to say. What India should do now is accelerate the India-US trade track. Don't wait for the US to focus. Don't wait for the US focus to shift. It should also reinforce its value as a trusted manufacturing and tech partner. It should continue strengthening defense and maritime partnerships via the Quad, the Indian Ocean, the Indo-Pacific. India should also stay vigilant on China's military posture, especially along the LAC and in the Indian Ocean. And it should also bolster semiconductor, AI, and supply chain policy to lock into long-term relevance. So India shouldn't see today as a setback, but it should see it definitely as a signal to move faster, especially since both leaders are carrying this warm and friendly tone. Because a US-China handshake doesn't change the long-term power equation, and India's role still remains critical. So the smart response is confidence, not concern, backed by speed and strategy, especially on the US-India trade deal.
Xi Jinping mentioned that it's okay to have friction once in a while, every now and then, and that is how he's describing this. And of course, saying that it feels very warm because we're meeting after so long. That is exactly what Xi Jinping has gone on to say. Daniel, take us through, of course, a lot riding, a lot on the agenda. It's a very high-stake meeting that's taking place. A lot, particularly when it comes to people importing stuff out of China into the United States, because there has been a lot of businesses that have been impacted in the United States. How hopeful should they be with this meeting and the outcome that, perhaps is expected?
I would say on the short term, they should be, let's say, slightly optimistic. I think that, like I said, the odds of some kind of trade deal or extended trade truce coming out of this meeting or whatever subsequent summit takes place are relatively high. And I think that plays into some of the domestic political calculations here that we've been talking about, which is that, there's a midterm election coming up in the United States. Trump wants his party to do well. There are plenty of Republicans and swing voters who rely on Chinese. Almost everybody in the United States probably uses some product that was made in China. And there are plenty of small business owners in the United States who rely on Chinese products for their imports. So there are political incentives for Trump to come up with some sort of tariff relief for China. But that's in the short term. In the long term, I do think we're going to continue moving toward decoupling. And so if I were an American business owner or an American, kind of consumer, I suppose I am an American consumer, I wouldn't be looking at this and thinking, okay, we're going to reset the US-China relationship. We're going to go back to how it was in the 2000s or the 1990s or even much of the 2010s, where there's a lot of commerce between the two countries that's reducing inflation. I don't think we're going back to that world. I think some short-term relief, yes. Long-term relief, a long-term change in trajectory, no.
Right, Daniel, of course, thank you so much, Daniel, for being with us. Stay with us. We're just, slipping into a short break. Back with Priyanka and Daniel on the other side. To stay with us.
Election season is here again. The battle for Bihar begins.
नीतीश जी का बिहार चलाने योग्य नहीं।
बिहार जैसे राज्य में इतना भरोसा लोगों ने किया।
India's #1 network locked and loaded. The OG of election reporting.
ये सवाल पूछे जाते हैं कि फलाना जाति की क्या आबादी है। सरकार के पास जरूर ये आंकड़े होने चाहिए।
Elections in our DNA. In the heart of every voter.
वोट चोरी मुद्दा है भी और नहीं भी है।
NDTV 24/7, India's election engine.
कपूर जी क्या ठंडा है ना?
डोली मैम आपके यहाँ भी आएंगे।
तू सीढ़ी से आ।
ओ हेलो हेलो हेलो, कौन हो आप लोग?
जी हम कोलेस्ट्रॉल।
बैड कोलेस्ट्रॉल।
वो वीकेंड पे भाई साहब ये जो हैवी खाना खाते हैं ना, साथ में हम भी आ जाते हैं।
अब से नहीं, क्योंकि अब इस घर में आता है फॉर्च्यून राइस ब्रांड हेल्थ ऑयल, जिसमें है गामा ओरिजिनॉल, जो गुड कोलेस्ट्रॉल बढ़ाए और बैड कोलेस्ट्रॉल भगाए।
डॉली मैम क्या चले?
फॉर्च्यून राइस ब्रांड हेल्थ ऑयल अपनाओ, बैड कोलेस्ट्रॉल को भगाओ।